Warning: this episode contains adult content and very angry adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. I'm your host Amanda, and I've decided to title this week's episode Absolutely Hopeless. There are multiple reasons why I chose this title. One reason is because that's how I felt while I was watching this week's episodes. I hope all of you guys had a great week. Mine was busy, but nothing too exciting. But my blood pressure was definitely raised this week. I've been mad and cussing like a sailor all week, and I have that on good authority because I'm married to one. Let's go ahead and get into the news before I decide to throw a tantrum. In the news, Denise Richards has been cast as Flo's mother, Shauna Fulton. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I am a huge Real Housewives fan and a huge Bravo fan. My point is, Denise Richards is now on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is really cool because now she's going to be on my Real Housewives show and my Bold and the Beautiful show, which is really cool. So if you guys are Housewives fans, let me know. So basically, Shauna is Flo's mother, and she supposedly has some deep, dark secrets. So that ought to be exciting. Tamar Braxton was recently on Celebrity Big Brother, has also been cast as a chef, but it sounds like it's just a 1 or 2 day cameo. But it does involve Bill and Katie, so we will see. Now, I've been holding on to this little bit of news because I was trying to get more information for you guys. I have emailed the lady more than once and I've not heard anything back. But on June the 22nd, I believe in Burbank, the Bold and the Beautiful has a meet and greet luncheon, which I desperately want to attend, but personally and financially, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I wanted to be able to tell you like the ticket prices and the information and the hotel and everything. So as soon as I hear back from her, if I do, I will give you guys all that information. But it is a meet and greet. You get to talk to them, get a picture signed. There's a lunch and also a silent auction where you can get some swag, which is what I would really love to get my hands on so I could give it away to you guys. So I will keep you guys posted on that. And that is all the news I have for this week. Enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. Monday, February the 18th. The show opens at Reese's apartment with Zoe and Reese. Zoe refuses to be his excuse for what he's done. Hope deserves to know the truth, and I agree. Reese explains that he did it to save her. He can't eat, he can't sleep, he feels horrible. Reese begs Zoe not to tell Steffi because then himself and Flo will end up in prison. Then he's also worried that they might go after Vegas thugs to ask questions, and it would not be good for them. This is ridiculous. Just don't name names of the Vegas guys. Really? Reese basically feels guilty, but he has justified it all in his mind because Steffi is a good mother and Hope will still be in the baby's life. Really? Really? He does stress that it may be selfish, but he doesn't want to go to prison. And Zoe grabs her stuff and she says she does not know if she can stay quiet about this. And she leaves. And Reese is panicking. You know what, Reese? No one wants to go to prison. You should have thought of that before you stole someone's child. Now we head over to Steffi's house with Steffi and Hope. Hope is feeding Phoebe, and she is loving every minute of it, you can tell. Steffi again expresses her worry about Hope getting too attached to Phoebe, and it might not be so healthy for her. But Hope assures Steffi that Phoebe is helping her. Hope looks at the portrait of Liam and Steffi on the wall, and it clearly makes her uncomfortable. Then Hope thanks Steffi again for letting her visit the girls. Now we head over to Spencer Publications in Bill's office with Bill and Wyatt. Apparently, Bill has summoned Wyatt to come see him. As soon as he gets there, Wyatt spills the tea about Katie and Thorne. Thorne has gone to Paris for good, and Bill is shocked just like everyone else. He is worried about Will because he actually liked that loser. His words. Wyatt assures him that Katie said Will is fine, and that he was even more perceptive than her because it wasn't as big of a shock to Will as it was to Katie herself. Katie is shell-shocked. Poor thing. I feel really bad for her. Bill is pissed at Thorne's behavior, and then Wyatt tells him the rest of the tea. That Thorne thinks Katie is still in love with him. And this shocks him a little. Bill thinks Thorne is just using him as an excuse to get out. But he is determined to fix his family, and he needs Wyatt's help. Now we head over to Forrester Creations in the executive office with Katie, Brooke, and Donna. Katie confides in her sisters about Thorne leaving, and they are both sad and shocked. Aren't we all? And of course, they feel horrible for her, so they hug it out, and poor Katie is crying, and then she admits that she is still in shock. They, of course, want to know why, because when something happens, everyone always wants to know why. It's just human nature. And Katie tells them that Thorne has to work on his grief, but that the other reason is because he thinks Katie's still in love with Bill. Brooke and Donna are both shocked, and they don't know what to say. Downstairs in the showroom with Zoe and Xander, Zoe has just arrived back at work extremely upset. And she asks Xander if he will go with her to Steffi's house because she really needs to talk to Steffi. Back over at Reese's apartment with Flo and Reese, Flo just arrived back and she is freaking out. She wants to know if he got through to Zoe, and if not, she wants to know if she should run because she is not staying there and going to jail. She is totally freaking out. Back over at Forrester Creations in the executive office with Hope and Brooke, Hope tells Brooke that she just was visiting Phoebe. And Brooke is very concerned. That might not be so healthy for her to keep doing. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, we head to Steffi's house. And Zoe has just arrived. Zoe tells Steffi that she needs to talk to her about Hope's baby. And Steffi is curious why Zoe is acting weird, especially when Steffi tells her that Hope and Phoebe have a special connection. Zoe basically looks like she is about to tell Steffi everything, and that's how Monday ends. So that brings us into Tuesday, February the 19th. The show opens at Steffi's house with Zoe, Xander, and Steffi. Zoe doesn't say anything. I am now at this point losing my mind while I'm watching this. Zoe starts to tell Steffi the truth, and then of course Phoebe wakes up and Steffi has to go to the nursery. Xander clearly knows something is wrong with Zoe, and before she can really say anything, Steffi returns with Phoebe, and Zoe sees how happy they are and how much Steffi loves her. Then Zoe chickens out and doesn't tell her the truth. I literally turned and looked at my husband because I was writing my notes, and I held up my pen and I said, I literally want to stick this pen into both of my eyes so that I don't have to watch this anymore. Enough said. Now we head over to Forrester Creations in the executive office with Hope and Brooke. Hope explains for the millionth time that Phoebe makes her feel better. She can see what it would have been like if Beth were there. Basically, Hope feels a really strong connection to Phoebe. Yeah, we know. Stop hitting us in the face with it. Then, out of the blue, Hope says that she feels extreme guilt because she is keeping Liam from being a family with Kelly and Steffi. And Brooke, just like everyone else, is like, wait a minute. Rewind. Excuse me? What did you say? Because, this is not rational. So Brooke is really concerned because this is crazy. Their marriage was not only based on Beth. Then Hope again asked why, and she starts blaming herself. I don't know how much longer I can watch this because it's just so sad and cruel. It just is. Like, I'm so over it. Now we head over to Bill's office with Bill and Wyatt. Bill needs Wyatt's help to repair their family. He wants Wyatt to come back to work for him at Spencer Publications. But Wyatt is not so quick to just forgive and forget because of all the stuff that Bill has done to him and Liam. But Bill promises that he just messed up. He just lost his way for a little bit, but now he is going to be the kind of father that Wyatt needs. Wyatt, of course, is concerned that this might affect his relationship with Sally. So Bill, very surprisingly, offers to give Sally a job too. He will do anything to get Wyatt back. Now we head over to Reese's apartment with Flo and Reese. Flo is completely freaking out. She is so worried that Zoe is going to rat them out, and oh, I wish she would. Reese is trying to figure out a way to keep Flo out of trouble. He's trying to think of a way that he can, if the police get involved, a way that he can say Flo didn't know what she was doing, she didn't know the whole story, and all of this stuff. Flo at least feels guilty about what they've done, because she really does. Zoe returns to the apartment and lets them know that she didn't tell Steffi because she couldn't. Then Reese and Flo are so relieved. And poor Zoe is so upset. She's so upset that Reese would put her in this position. How could he do that to her? What a great father, right? She hates what he did. But Steffi loves that baby, and now it seems cruel to take it away. This is BS. And she loves him and doesn't want him to go to jail. So she agrees to keep his secret. Now that part I buy, because there's not a lot of people who would put their parents in jail. As Zoe is saying this, the camera switches over and we see Brooke hugging a crying and upset Hope. And that's how Tuesday ends. So that brings us into Wednesday, February the 20th. The show actually opens at Wyatt's house, but we're going to circle back to that. We are going to start at Spencer Publications in Bill's office with Bill and Justin. Justin reminds Bill that Katie will always be in his life, no matter what. So maybe losing Thorne is a good thing. And then Bill informs Justin that he asked Wyatt to come back to work for them. Because Bill's kind of avoiding the Katie subject, I think. So Bill really wants his boys back. That's obvious. He decides to go check on Will and Katie, because I guess Justin is getting to him a little. And before he leaves, Justin warns him to be nice. No, I told you so's. But Bill reminds Justin that he is a changed man. Now we head over to Katie's house with Katie and Donna. Donna is worried about Katie, and she wants to keep her company. Katie is still in shock over the whole Thorne thing, just like everyone else, like so are we. Donna wants to know if Katie is still in love with Bill or not. And Katie assures her that she feels like she is completely over Bill. But then she hesitates for a second. And Donna says, "Are you sure?" But before Katie can answer, there's a knock on the door and it's Bill. Saved by the knock. Katie is surprised to see him because he didn't call ahead of time or anything. So Donna leaves so they can talk. Katie does not want to hear "I told you so." So Bill assures her that he only came to check on her and Will, and that he's changed and he's not going to do that anymore. He honestly just wanted to make sure that they were okay. Then Katie tells him about the whole Thorne thing and how Thorne had a lot of ideas that may or may not be true and a lot of things that were bothering him. So basically, she gets a little uncomfortable and she says, Thorne thinks that I'm in love with you. And before Bill can say anything, the front door opens and it's Will. Will has just arrived home. So Bill tells Will that he is basically just there to check on him and make sure that him and his mom are okay. Now we head back over to Bill's office with Donna and Justin. Justin called Donna to talk to her about Bill and Katie. Basically, Justin wants to play matchmaker and he wants Donna's help doing it. Now we are going to circle back to Wyatt's house with Wyatt and Sally. And of course, you guessed it, they are in bed, as usual. Wyatt tells Sally his news about his new job offer. And Sally makes it clear that she just wants Wyatt to do what makes him happy. She does not want to come between him and his dad. She is not going to be one of those people that's like, it's me or him, because that's not fair. So Wyatt has this crazy idea that he can make Bill resurrect Spectra fashions for Sally. And Sally is so touched by him having this idea. She's so touched by it. But she is happy at Forrester, so she's unsure what she thinks about the idea, honestly. And then Wyatt tries really hard to talk Sally into it. And he is so sweet. He's so damn sweet about it. And of course, how could she say no to him? She can't actually. So they both agree that he's going to go over there and he's going to tell Bill exactly what he wants. So these two are super happy and huggy and kissing, and that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday, February the 21st. The show opens at Wyatt's house with Wyatt and Sally. They are still in bed, of course, discussing the ultimatum that Wyatt is going to give Bill about resurrecting Spectra fashions. Sally is nervous that this won't go over well with Bill. No Spectra fashions, no Wyatt. So that was Wyatt's answer to her when she said, I don't think your dad's going to like this. He said, no Spectra fashions, then no Wyatt. Now we head over to Katie's house with Katie, Will, and Bill. Bill is being silly, and he's talking about money with Will to cheer him up. So Will goes upstairs for a minute, and Katie thanks Bill for being there for her and for being sweet about everything, instead of his usual, I told you so self. Then Will comes back downstairs, and Bill promises both of them that he will not let them down again. Now we head over to the cabin with Hope and Liam. Hope is being really, really weird, and it has Liam worried. She is insisting that Liam needs to go spend time with the girls. And now Liam's getting aggravated because he doesn't want to go spend time with the girls. He wants to spend time with her. He talked to Steffi. The girls are fine. They don't need him 24/7. And he wants to spend time with her. He wants to take care of her. And Liam explains that he does not agree with Hope. He thinks that Hope needs him just as much as Steffi and the girls need him, if not more. This behavior of Hope's is completely irrational, and I don't like it. So then the front door opens, and it's Brooke. She came to visit, and Hope convinces Liam that he should go so that she can spend time with her mom. That her mom will definitely keep her company. So Liam leaves. Now we head over to Steffi's house, and Steffi is thinking about when Kelly was born and how Liam was there for her. Then she starts cooking. I guess she's making a soup or something, and then both babies start crying. She's trying to to deal with the soup, and she's trying to make bottles, and then she knocks over the formula container, and the powdery formula goes everywhere, and I'm like, poor thing. She is definitely having a rough day, and this is the kind of luck that I have, so I totally get this. Now we head over to Spencer Publications in Bill's office with Justin and Donna. And they are still discussing how they should play matchmakers and get Bill and Katie back together. Then Donna accuses Justin of being a softie, which is funny because he's like, hey, don't let that get out, right? I have a reputation to uphold. And Justin really wants to help Bill get his family back together. I think it's all with good intentions. I just think he wants to help his friend. And Donna sees this too, and she thinks it's very sweet. Now we head back over to Steffi's. Liam has just arrived, and he is a godsend for Steffi at that moment because she was very overwhelmed. And Liam assures her that he will be there for her whenever she needs him. All she has to do is call. He also tells her that Hope is not doing very well, that she's being really weird, and she thinks that the girls should be his first priority, not herself. This surprises Steffi and worries her too at the same time. Then Liam confides in Steffi that Hope is not really getting any better. She seems to be getting worse. Back over at Katie's house, Bill is gone and Donna has returned home. And she lets Katie in on Justin's plan to get Bill and herself back together. Katie kind of laughs a little bit, but she says that she doesn't want them putting these ideas in Bill or Will's head. Back at Spencer Publications with Bill and Justin is very proud of Bill for supporting Katie and not being an a-hole about it. And then Wyatt walks in and he says he needs to talk to Bill about his offer. And Bill's like all excited, and he's like, yes. And then Wyatt says that he wants to come back, but only if Bill resurrects Spectra Fashions. And I thought Bill's head was going to pop off of his body because he's kind of speechless and doesn't know what to say. Now we head back over to the cabin with Hope and Brooke. And of course, Brooke is extremely concerned about Hope. Brooke immediately warns Hope that if she keeps pushing Liam away, something bad will happen. And that is so true. Hope is being so irrational. And this is definitely her grief talking. Because deep down, she doesn't really want to push Liam away. She loves him. But that's exactly what she's doing. And Brooke is trying to get her to understand this. And Hope does not want, and Hope just does not want to hear it. She says that she doesn't want to be with Liam. Because when she is with him, she feels extreme guilt about keeping him from his girls. And Brooke's like, oh no, this is going in a bad place. So Brooke tries desperately to talk some sense into Hope. But it's not working. She's just not having it. And that's how Thursday ends. So she's going to blow up her life, basically. Okay, you know what? I'm going to wait until we get to the end because I have a lot to say about this. So that brings us into Friday, February the 22nd. The show opens at the cabin with Hope and Brooke. Hope is completely freaked out. She is going to push Liam away, and she's made up her mind, and Brooke is desperately trying to talk her out of it. Brooke realizes that Hope is not being rational, and she is not in the right frame of mind to make a decision like this. And Brooke is very worried. And Hope tells her that when you love someone, you have to set them free. Which really, really upsets Brooke. Now we head over to Steffi's house with Steffi and Liam. Liam and Steffi are both really concerned about Hope. They agree that she is transferring her feelings of motherhood onto Kelly and Phoebe. And Steffi thinks that she is actually getting worse instead of better. Now we head over to Spencer Publications with Bill, Justin, and Wyatt. And Bill hasn't been on the show in a few days. And you know what? I really missed him, because regardless of how horrible he can be sometimes, he always has the funniest lines. And like, he always says things that make you laugh. And in this very sad time right now, we need some laughs. Bill is not too happy with Wyatt's ultimatum, but Wyatt is not backing down either. If Bill wants him back, then he will do this for him. Bill is pissed. He doesn't want to deal with, and these are his words, he does not want to deal with Spectra's 3-ring circus fashions. And Wyatt desperately tries to talk Bill into doing this for him and Sally. Wyatt wants justice for Sally, period. Bill admits that he doesn't want to be like his father. And so he finally agrees to Wyatt's demands. And this makes Wyatt so happy. But Bill makes him agree never to call him a dressmaker, which Wyatt agrees never to do. And Bill is also very thankful to have Wyatt back in his life and back at his company. Now we head over to Forrester Creations in the executive office with Sally and Eric. And Eric is happy with Sally's work, and he's glad that she's there. And Sally asks Eric if she could possibly be considered for the lead designer position on the Hope for the Future line. Now that Thorne is gone, they need a designer. And of course, Eric tells her absolutely, they will definitely consider her for the job, which makes her think about what she should do. Because now she's not sure, because should she start Spectra over? Should she stay at Forrester? She's like confused about it. And Eric admits that he is really happy that Sally is there. And he does understand how difficult it is to be a designer, but that she definitely takes after her Aunt Sally and reminds him of her a lot. Now we head over to Steffi's. And Brooke has stopped by to talk to her about Hope, because she is very worried. Brooke explains everything that's going on, basically, with Hope. And how she has this new, out of the blue, irrational guilt about Liam missing time with Kelly and Phoebe. And Steffi feels so bad for Hope and wishes she could help. And I think Brooke is like, well, you can. So Brooke says, look, Steffi, all I'm asking is that you please respect their marriage, because Hope is not thinking clearly. And Steffi assures Brooke that she would never do anything to undermine their relationship. Never. Oh no, not Steffi. And a few minutes later, Brooke leaves, and Steffi immediately starts thinking about being with Liam, and when they were together, and when they got married, and when they had the baby, which is exactly what she just said she would not do. Okay? Now we head back to the cabin with Hope and Liam. And Liam has just returned home, and Hope tells him that he should have stayed longer because she is fine. And now Liam is upset because he wants to be with her. He wants to take care of her. He wants to spend time with her. And it's ridiculous because he's not going to go spend every waking minute at Steffi's. But Hope is just not hearing it. She's overwhelmed with grief, guys, and she's just not thinking clearly. Liam is desperately trying to talk Hope down off the ledge, so to speak. But Hope is being completely ridiculous. And Liam wants her to stop being heroic and think about herself for once. And he is beyond upset because Hope is basically trying to break up with him. And that's how Friday ends. On such a lovely, lovely, happy note, right? Okay, guys, let's break this down. Wyatt is really standing up to Bill, which I love. And it's his way or the highway. I personally think it would be interesting having Spectre Fashions back, especially because Thomas is coming back to town soon. Wyatt and Sally could be a real power couple if nothing comes between them. Poor Katie is still in shock. And of course, I feel bad for her. Of course I do. And I know that she keeps saying she doesn't have feelings for Bill, but then she'll hesitate or do a little half smile. And it kind of seems like maybe she still does. Maybe Thorne saw something that we didn't. And you know what? I would love to know what you guys think about Bill and Katie getting back together, because I really think that's where this is headed. I'm not completely against it. I'm not completely for it. I'm kind of in the middle on the fence, because I just don't want Katie to get hurt again. And if you're new to the show, they've already been married 2 or 3 times, and every time he does something horrible. He fell in love with Steffi and almost cheated on Katie with Steffi years and years ago when they were younger. And Katie got sick, and so she took him back. And then he did it again with her sister more than once. So I just don't want Katie to get hurt. All right, moving on. Donna and Justin were a little flirty with each other. So I don't know, maybe these two might get back together, maybe not. If you're newer to the show, they used to be together, and they do have a son. His name is Marcus. So I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to see how that plays out. I think that it's very sweet of Justin to want to help Bill repair his family. And Donna thinks that it's very sweet too. So, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. I'm not sure if they're going that way or not. Okay, guys. I need to give you a warning. If you don't like cursing, you should probably stop the podcast right now, because I'm now getting into the things that really pissed me off. First of all, why did we have to sit through a whole damn storyline last year about how Steffi is over Liam's flip-flopping and she is done? She is going to be Miss Independent and find someone who loves only her. Any of this ringing a bell? I am beyond angry. I do not want to sit through another freaking storyline with Liam flip-flopping. I'm sorry, I cannot say flip-flopping. I cannot talk today. I do not want to sit through another storyline with Liam's flip-flopping. I cannot. I literally can't. This has made me so damn angry that my husband is like, whoa, you need to calm down. Trust me, I'm not crazy. I know that this is just a scripted show, but still, I'm infuriated. Come on, people. Hope is not in her right mind, and she is so caught up in her grief. You know what? If Liam and Steffi use this tragedy to get back together, I'm done with both of them. I'm done with both of them. F both of them. And don't think for one damn minute that I believe Steffi's innocent act. Okay? To Brooke earlier, oh, I would never interfere in their marriage. Really, bitch? Because as soon as Brooke walked out the door, you were already thinking about Liam. Shady AF. If Steffi takes him back, I am done. I am done with her and Liam. Because then what did we sit through that whole storyline for? For nothing. I'm really mad, guys, about this. How do they not see that everyone in the whole world is over the Liam, Steffi, Hope triangle? Okay? Everyone. My dog is over it. I'm really trying to contain myself, and I'm sorry for the harsh language, but I'm really angry. So let's talk about something that will make me even more angry. Let's talk about Zoe. That way I can officially lose my mind. Zoe was my hero for 2 seconds. Hear me out. If I was Zoe, I wouldn't want to put my dad in jail. Right? Okay? Even if I was myself, I would not want to put my dad in jail. Okay? I totally get that part of it, and I totally understand. But I also wouldn't keep this secret for him either. I can tell you what I would do. I would tell my dad, I would tell Reese and Flo, look, take care of any business that you need to take care of. Pack everything that you need. Get on a plane and go where there's no extradition laws. Call me when you get there on a disposable phone. Then get rid of the phone. But don't tell me where you are. Then, once my dad is gone and I know he's safely away, then I would go tell Hope everything. So basically, Zoe does have options. She just doesn't like the options that she has. So Zoe went from hero to zero in my book in like 10 seconds. I am so over this storyline anyway. It would be easier to watch if they weren't stringing it out so freaking long. I personally feel like the truth should be revealed and then we can experience the aftermath. And that could open up all kinds of storylines. If you guys agree, let me know. Because I'd love to know how everyone feels. Is everyone over this? Or is it just me? Inquiring minds definitely want to know. So please get in touch and let me know what y'all think. I want to hear all of it, the good and the bad. You can contact me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the same name. I will put the links in the show notes. I apologize once more for my language, but I'm over this whole thing, to be honest. When I was writing my notes this week, y'all might get a kick out of this. When I was writing my notes this week, because I do it old school, with a notebook and a pen. And I'm writing my notes, like my outline and stuff, and I'm getting so angry that at one point I go to write something and I put the pen right through the paper. It was so funny. You know what? I'll take a picture and post that on my socials. So that brings us to the end of the episode. It was so hard to watch and sit through. Don't get me wrong, okay? Let me say this disclaimer, okay? Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love this show. I am in my very late 30s. I've been watching for over 20 years, ever since I was a teenager. But I have to be honest, if I didn't do this podcast for you guys, I would have fast forwarded through a lot of the scenes because I was just so angry. And I don't need to watch Hope explain for the millionth time how Phoebe makes her feel better. We get it. Gosh. Okay, guys. I'm done with my tantrum. I'm done with it now. I feel better now that I got it out. I feel lighter. Thank you so much for listening because I love doing this podcast and I love The Bold and the Beautiful. As mad as it makes me, I still love it. If you enjoy the podcast, please give me a 5-star rating at whatever podcast directory you use because it will help the show to be seen by more people. I hope you all have such a great week. Do not forget to get in touch with me because I really want to hear what you guys think. Thank you again for listening. One more thing I forgot to tell you. Because this week has been so sad and upsetting, I decided to put some happy, cheerful music at the end just so that it doesn't have to end so sad. Thanks again, guys, for listening. I'll be back in your ears next week. Hopefully it won't be as sad. Until then, bye, guys.